So, if you're anything like me, you've probably had an experience where a text based conversation went from what seemed like reasonably mature, present human interactions quickly devolving into a bunch of crazy bullshit, either on your end or their end. When really, if you look back in hindsight, you're like, where did it go wrong? And maybe you're noticing this other person getting angry. Why were they angry? Maybe the other person was responding to you. Why were they angry? But neither of you were initially angry. You just became angry throughout the course of the message as a result of whatever emotional response you have to what the other person is saying. Well, this is actually a rather common thing, and it's called a negativity bias. And knowing about it might save you from a lot of those interactions, and probably save you a lot of stress, anxiety, and possibly even save you from damaging a business or professional or even a personal relationship. So the negativity bias, insofar as emails, goes like this. A happy email will be received as a neutral email. A neutral email will be received as a negative email, and a negative email will be received as an ultra negative email. This happens because there's no body language, there's no intonation in the voice, there's only the words themselves divorced from the intimate complexities of human conversation in real time, face to face. And so something about humans, we have a tendency to constantly be watching for the trouble, and often most of us are sort of negatively conditioned to respond to the things around us with the perception of threat, anger, violence. I mean, why we do that is a topic for a totally different video, but we ultimately do this. We tend to see things with a bias that has a negative result. So how can we overcome this? Well, the first way we can overcome it is to learn about it, and so we can check ourselves for a second. Like, wait a minute, is that person angry when I read their message? Is that person angry, or am I just misreading their message? And it's also an awareness of the other person too, aware that they might be receiving your message with anger or issues. And so it's important to make it clear, very clear, almost all the things that you think body language would communicate, you have to communicate in words so that people understand that that you're not angry, and that a neutral email is a good email, or a good email is actually a good email, and not everything spiraling down into negativity and conflict. A really great way to do this, and I'm kind of getting into this, which I think is super fun, is emoticons. It's almost like the text version of body language, making it clear, like happy face, it's all good, or winky face, I'm just messing around. And that can be extremely supportive in letting it be clear, like, hey, this neutral email is not a negative email, it's actually a neutral to plus maybe good email. Another point to consider, just really quick before we end off, is unless you have an established relationship with a person that isn't full of strange emotional charge and conflict for whatever personal reasons you might share with that person, being really straightforward and to the point isn't usually going to get received positively. Of course, who wants to waste their time writing these long, elegant, elaborate emails? But sometimes being point for point and really rational and logical can be received as negativity too. So take a second to make it personal and to show that you're a real human being that's interacting with positivity and good vibes. And hopefully we can inform each other about this so that we see less internet discourse, private or semi-public on social media, devolving so quickly into just bullshit, fallacy, argument, conflict, yada, 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 immature, unskillful, childish humans pretending to be adults. Yeah, we can do it.